All right, everyone, good afternoon and welcome back to yet another special episode of Red Pill News. As always, my name is Zach Payne, the corruption detector, and joining me for another exciting conversation about C60 Evo are my good friends Chris Burres and Patty Greer. Patty, how are you today? Looking lovely as always.
Thank you. I'm feeling the springtime. I got to tell you, it is wonderful to feel so well at a time when a lot of people aren't. So I feel blessed every day.
Absolutely. That's a wonderful reason to get up. And Chris, how about you, sir? You're looking great, too.
Thank you. I'm doing very well. Excited to be reconnecting with you. I bring the geekiness to really every place I go, and so I'm looking forward to that.
Excellent. Well, I always enjoy our conversations, guys. And let me just begin by apologizing for the condition of my throat. My daughter and her girlfriend are here from back home, and so we all went to Universal Studios this weekend. And I guess I was screaming a little bit more than I realized I was going to. So I'm a bit froggy, and I went with the C60 Evo bulletproof coffee today so that it would soothe and condition my throat. So hopefully it's not too much to put up with.
Oh gosh, no. So let's elaborate on what that coffee consists of.
Yep.
MCT, coconut oil from C60 Evo. And I have a habit of using a tablespoon, but then I go, oops, and I always spill. For that reason, I just opened a 16-ounce bottle. I haven't done a bigger bottle, but I keep blowing through the 4-ounce bottles because I keep spilling. I absolutely love how it makes me feel first thing in the morning. But if you get sick, everybody I know that's sick, I just say double up on your Evo. Do yourself a favor.
So I've been pretty lucky. I don't feel like I have any symptoms. I mean, it's just the obvious physical symptom of not having the normal voice that I have. But, I've continued with my C60, and I'll chalk it up to that. I haven't gotten sick. I've just lost it a little bit.
And the brain keeps working.
Exactly.
I mean, the Evo just keeps you.
Yeah, got to keep plugging along. Excellent. So did you guys have a good weekend? It's been a couple of weeks since the last time I talked to you. How has everything been in general? Chris?
Really good. So on my side, really good. I have twins, boy-girl twins. They just turned 14 this last weekend. So we had the birthday party. There were teenagers running everywhere. And yeah, I was calm, I was collected, and we survived the onslaught of teenagers.
I gotta say that is a particular phase in human gestation that I don't miss. I am so grateful that my daughter is an adult at this point, and someday you'll get there, that's for sure.
It's just, I do ask other parents, like, there is another side to this, right? Like, you get onto the other side, and they're like, yeah, it's not that far away. 4 to 5 years, yeah, we'll make it.
Seems like an eternity while you're living it. This is the thing. I remember when I was young, it seemed like time was like immortal. Like I could not pass through a single day without feeling like, nothing was ever going to get better. Like it was always just going to be exactly the way it was right then, because my experience in life was so limited. And then the older you get, the faster everything moves. But then it slowed back down again when my daughter was younger. And then I got to experience all of those moments with her in that like hyperspace, slowed down bullet time sort of experience. And it's pretty interesting how that works. Now, once again, it's just me and Lisa, and I feel like the days just fly by. It's insane.
It does go fast. And I'll tell you, when they turned 18 and moved out, all of a sudden, instead of going, oh God, I can't wait till I have, a little peace and quiet, and then they leave and you go, ugh.
What am I going to do with myself?
Right. Now I got to get a life, that's not devoted strictly to the kids, but then you get grandkids. Mm-hmm. So, it's a great cycle to live through and in and be a part of. I just got a kind of a devastating call from my mom. She's about to turn 95, and she's just kind of over it. And the hardest thing, and again, I keep pumping her up with the Evo. Her mind is a steel trap. Her financial guy that deals with all these old people in the desert, he said, there's nobody like your mom. Her mind is on fire. It's like, how does she? And I'm going,
I'll clue you in, buddy.
yeah. I will take him oh, that's my reminder to take a little bottle when I go visit. But I have kept her with the Evo. She just got her facial serum. She looks incredible, but she keeps allowing the system to encourage her to get the thing.
Mm.
And it just doesn't make people healthier, especially at 95.
No.
So you can't tell somebody, that's always been older than you because they had you,
Yeah.
what to do. But it's a very interesting thing for me to watch her just be so incredibly together. But her body functions are fighting the systematic issues. I would like to say on that note, I'd like to propose a toast to all of our health and take a big, strong, fat spoonful of, I'm taking the olive oil. It looks like all three of us are on the strong stuff. 3 different ways to take it, as you can see.
That was the last of that bottle, so set it aside.
Mm.
And I thought you were just pounding a whole lot of it.
Right?
No, I knew that was like the last tablespoon that was in there, so like, I'll just hang on to it until I need it.
Right?
Yeah, but
Well,
I got a cupboard full of it, so don't worry.
Yeah, I chose a bigger bottle this time because I do have a closet with some smaller bottles. But when you're hardcore, and I'm hardcore, but I think I've had heavier things to heal from than most people.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to quickly say that I mentioned on the last show that I just went through 2 full hip replacements
Mm-hmm.
in the last 6 months,
Wow.
and nobody knew. I was on the air 5 days later because I could sit and not be in pain,
Mm-hmm.
but the pain's gone. I am like a new person. It's like round 2 of my life at this age, and I'm not exactly young. So for me, I'm just watching the longevity proof of me and my mom getting through things that are just, to my mind, historic. Like I lived through uranium poisoning, intentional. And that was only 4 years ago, maybe 5 now. But it's like, wow, body, you're amazing. And I think that what I've really learned now that I can walk again is that I forgot to be grateful for walking, for seeing, for smelling, like for all the little things. I think we really forget to be grateful. We're so busy wanting more.
Mm-hmm.
And so I sit now, and whenever I feel sad about anything, I just go, and I'm in a really nice house, and I'm really comfortable. My bed is soft and warm. And I'm so, it's like I'm going down my list now. I can see, I can hear, I can walk. But people didn't know, and people don't know how much others are dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
So I really love the fact that this Evo helps all of us be less postal
Mm-hmm.
with our reactions to things. I heard Chris say I was really calm through the party. I mean, it's like you barely need booze or whatever state you live in, whatever it is you like to do. But the Evo does this centering thing that is really impressive. And I think it's part of the reason quietly it won the Nobel Prize in 1996. It was excellent then for its purposes. Little did they know, and Chris had been making it for 6 years when it won the Nobel Prize. Oh, yeah, he supplied the goods that won the Nobel Prize. Now, we get a lot of comments because the Nobel Prize went to hell, and they
Right.
gave it to bad people. But in the 90s, it was still an integral organization honoring real science and
Prestige.
prestige.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we've lost about 80% of the prestige in
Yeah.
America, knocking over the statues and calling, billions of dollars in damage, peaceful protests.
Yep.
But we're going to come through this. And I think the more people on Evo, the better. I would offer an entire month's paycheck to pump Evo into the entire Congress to get them to wake the frick up. And it comes with a paddle. You have to take a tablespoon in the morning and whack the person next to you to wake up. And the whole Congress, this is my offer, free Evo for the Congress or the Senate. If all of you will take a bottle and a paddle and make a promise for a month, we would clean up this country, wouldn't we?
I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. Patty,
Okay.
let me just say,
But it might take a really big bottle.
it very well may. Let me just say, I have known a number of people who had a single hip replacement, and at least one other that has had a double hip replacement at the same time, and they were in some of the most intense and excruciating pain as I've ever seen. So I never in a million years would have thought that you had endured that and then like got on the air with us in the days after. I mean, my hat's off to you, Miss. I mean, you are obviously an extremely strong and resilient woman. And I think that that's a real testament to your character. Obviously, you know, I think we can look to the Evo, but I mean, it seems to me like the Evo brings out the best in people because we all have this tremendous potential. And a lot of us have just, you know, either through situation or circumstance, it's been squandered for whatever reason. You know, we get focused on the minutia of life and we forget about that sort of special innate nature that we each have. And, you know, to your point earlier about keeping people focused and keeping you balanced, I mean, when you are focused, when you are balanced, when you do have that gratitude for those things in your life that are fleeting and perhaps other people don't have, I mean, that puts you into a headspace where you can accomplish some incredible things. And I think specifically, I mean, you getting a double hip replacement and just continuing to plug away, I mean, it's very memorable.
Thank you. Well, my favorite restaurant brought me dinner. Like the most handsome guy in the world delivered it with flowers. And I'm like, you're so married, but God, this is fun. Anyway, then he comes with his two little kids the second time just to charm my heart to bits. But when I went in there a month ago after going through both of the surgeries and recoveries, he saw me walk in and he was just like, I can't believe it. And I said, turn the music up, and we tangoed. It was subtle. It was a subtle tango, but I was like, I am so back. And I was with my best friend since I was 7 years old, and she was in tears. She said, I can't believe I'm seeing you walking again. And I said, I can't believe you have to say that. She's known me. I rode horses. I had a Harley. I've always been, you know, hardcore living life. And then I dealt with really bad people who just tried to take me out. Uranium was the third effort. So, you know, I mean, I guess when you're an honest elder, you threaten lying sacks of shit, excuse my language.
You can say that again.
All three of them were clearly lying sacks of shit. So God bless all the good people on earth. And I really am so deeply grateful to have survived all this, but to be thriving and to co-own C60 Evo with badass Chris Burres. I'm cussing because I'm so excited now.
That's fine.
I am so back. I'm calling this my comeback tour.
I love it. I love it.
I think it's the badass comeback tour.
There you go.
It's a badass comeback tour. Just don't let Granny get a Harley trike, you know. Just don't let me do that. But I did just invest in a great toy. So I can tell I'm on my comeback tour. But if it wasn't for the Evo, I don't think I would have made it. And if it wasn't for Chris and Robert being the originals that supplied all the real stuff to the real, all the peer-reviewed, all the big experiments that came out of Chris and Robert's lab. They've been in business, even though he looks like a kid, for 32 years. And I'm just so proud to be their partner. But I could have chosen, because I was bringing C60 to the public years ago after I got poisoned. I survived, and I kept talking about it on the air. And so they started getting all these calls, and we helped each other. I just think of how how amazing it is that Chris and I have been brought together like this. I feel like it's a spiritual experience for him to tolerate me and me to tolerate him with such tremendous honor and gratitude and respect, because we are as different as could be. He's this marvelous nerd scientist, like he says, and I'm this hippie in Boulder still, you know, I mean, yeah, I love living life large, and so does he. So now I get another chance at it. And if it wasn't for this product, I wouldn't be doing it. So this is why I take it. This is why I sell it. And everybody that we work with, including you, is ageless. If you've got a kid that's that old, I mean, I thought you were in your 20s. You look like a kid.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So, so it was like I was saying before the show, it's like you guys are the yin and yang of this, and it all circles together, and here I am in the middle. But let me just say this, Chris. In 1996, I was a senior in high school, and I can remember reading about buckyballs in the C60 molecule in like a Time magazine or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. And so in the same way, it's like awesome that you guys came together. The fact that like I now also know you guys, and this is something that I was reading about way back in high school and thinking, wow, what are the potential future ramifications of this scientific discovery? And boom, here we are on a program together. I'm continually blown away by the synchronistic nature of it all.
You know that same feeling that you have. I look back because, when Robert and I started the lab, we didn't have this vision that this was going to be, some amazing molecule, that this was going to be responsible for the single longest longevity experimental result on mammals in history. We're just like, hey, we're entrepreneurs. There's a material. It's selling at the time for $6,000 a gram. It's not easy to make. It's expensive to make, but we think we can do it. So we pulled that off and started selling to research institutions around the world. And then we've stuck with it, starting selling in 1991. And then now here we are in 2024. And, the whole thing is upside down. If you had ever said back, especially in 1991, like you would be have a health supplement on the market, that you'd be, becoming an expert at longevity. If you were doing any of this stuff, I would have just said, no, I don't see how we get from there. Like, this is amazing, but I didn't have that vision. And so there is this kind of same thing. Wow, I can look back and remember being at conferences with the Nobel Prize winning scientists. I can remember, Robert actually had a beer with one of the Nobel Prize winning scientists. Actually, interestingly, Dr. Robert Curl, he's one of the Nobel Prize winners. He passed, I don't know, a number of years ago, but they put his Nobel Prize up for auction, right? Because the estate doesn't need it or want it. I would have very much liked to have that Nobel Prize, but it sold for $444,000.
Wow!
So somebody now has that Nobel Prize, the actual gold Nobel Prize.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing. We didn't have the budget for that. 'Cause especially then, now we got to like build something to display it and protect it. Like this is
and insure it.
Yeah, and insure it and like all sorts of things. But what a great even as crazy as this, I was actually coming back from a conference in Las Vegas. I ended up chatting with the guy next to me. It was a kind of a conversation that I normally wouldn't have. Like, I like chatting with people, but it just was going a weird direction. And I started asking what he did. And it turns out he was married to, was at the time married to Dr. Smalley's widow. So Dr. Smalley, when he passed, his wife became a widow, and we're like, what a weird world where I'm in a line for a Southwest Airlines line, and I start chatting with somebody who's has this circle. So I know exactly what you're talking about. It just feels amazing to have these things come back and turn into something you were never expecting.
Absolutely. Now, Chris, you were telling me before the show about a new study related to C60 Evo and possible use cases. And, I always love to hear where we're at in terms of the latest scientific breakthroughs. So I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's, one of my jobs, right? I get to go through and read all the latest papers on, the ESS60 molecule and what they're doing with it and the benefits it's having. It's just, it's kind of phenomenal to just keep reading and there are more and more benefits. One of the papers, I don't know if we discussed it previous to this, was improvements in inflammatory markers in beagles, right? So the dogs, I don't have a beagle, I'm not a beagle, but I know that's a really positive thing, right? Yeah. This one is really probably goes to address, if you've heard some of our conversations before, I wasn't really intending to get into the supplement market. And Patty kind of described how she pushed us into the supplement market. And then she came back to us and said, hey, we need to do a face serum. And I was like, yay, that sounds really like I've always dreamed of being a face serum manufacturer. But the testimony, and we did, right? And the testimonials off of the face serum are off the charts. It's one of my wife's favorite products is the face serum. So when we get these amazing testimonials about the face serum, I'm like, well, why might we be getting these? This paper kind of addresses that. So it's just an interesting study. The title is a novel fullerene composite material for directional oil control and antioxidant. That sounds like really geeky. I'm going to read the kind of abbreviated version, and then I've got a longer conclusion, right? So really it's fullerene hypoxyapatite. By the way, hydroxyapatite is a calcium-based mineral, right? So it's just something that you might apply if you're thinking about a mineral makeup. So a fullerene hydroxyapatite complex has excellent directional oil absorption characteristics, which can effectively remove free radicals and reduce skin oil oxidation. Right, so you get skin oils come up, they oxidize. That's called aging, basically. And also, really, the free radicals help manage that oxidation. So it's a pretty phenomenal result. All right, the longer version is, and bear with me, this will get a little bit geeky. So using hydroxyapatite as a solid dispersant, and fullerenes were evenly dispersed on the surface to form a composite. So they're blended together, right? The compound has the excellent ability of directionally absorption of skin oil. So it's not absorbing oil from the air, it's actually pulling oil away from the skin. Its quenching ability for free radical was excellent, and it reduced the oxidation degree of skin oil effectively. Again, the hydroxyapatite fullerene composite in the study is kind of a makeup material with great application value. So when you look at the kind of conclusion of this is it's a great antioxidant, it's a great free radical absorber. And so when we look at these amazing testimonials that we get for our face serum, people are always asking, well, why? Well, why? Well, because its ability to be a great antioxidant absorber. And we know from peer-reviewed published research that it's 172 times, peer-reviewed published research is 125 times more powerful than vitamin C. And then there's an ad hoc study out on the web showing it to be 172 times more powerful than vitamin C. So that's the geeky article of the month.
So do you think that this would be, let's just think about like possible applications, like as like a facial mask, or do you think that it could be added into, like if a woman is wearing makeup, put it in the makeup and then it would just be there all day?
So what my wife does, so normally I would have no answer for you because I don't wear makeup, but my wife shares that she can put it under and over her makeup, right? So this creates a protective barrier, whereas I think typical kind of oils and lotions would mess up makeup. It doesn't. It actually adds a little bit of a shine to it, which she says is actually something that that women look for in makeups. You know, sometimes they even have the glitter in the makeups. And so I think this has protective effects under the makeup and then also protective effects on top of the makeup.
Wow. Okay. All right. Cool. And Patty, I see you've got your bottle there.
I do. He's talking about this product, which is the C60 Evo Advanced Facial Serum. It was our first facial product. It comes in this beautiful box. And Chris acts like, yeah, they didn't want to do the serum. And then they come up with the box. Like, I came up with the serum with the formulators, and it is marvelous. It's 21 natural, vegan, organic ingredients. Dogs lick it off. His dog licks it off his wife and comes back for more. So it's got the essence of rosemary oil because it's got organic rosemary oil in it. But the base is, I think, what is making a difference. And I've never heard of chia seed oil in a facial serum. But my formulator, who is raw is the law, is one of her many books. She does raw foods and natural healing on every level. She did the original ingredients, and I looked at her at 70 and I said, "What are you doing with your skin? You look incredible." Well, not only does she live on raw food, but she has chia seed oil on her face. And so I was like, number one, chia seed oil. And by the time we were done, I was exhausted listening to all of her reasons why to use this, where it's from, and what energies it will bring out in you. We completed it with a rosemary essence that you can definitely smell every time you put it on.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I love it. And most people do love the essence of, it's like Thanksgiving, the rosemary. But I find that, as aromatherapy, when I'm putting it on, I always breathe it in before I put it on my face. I get it on all my fingertips and then I breathe it, put it on my face and throat. And I don't find that I like using anything else other than our 2-part with peptide serum, which the guys who pretended not to want to do facial serums came up with without me. And Chris calls me like a year after this one and he goes, "Oh, hope you don't get mad." And I was like, "Uh-oh." And he was like, "We came up with another facial option and it's really wonderful." And he can tell you why. But it comes in 2 bottles so that we didn't have to use emulsifiers or chemicals. And it's this beautiful product. Chris, you want to talk about it?
Yeah, so it ended up right as the original advanced facial serum is coming out, we're getting amazing reviews, and we kind of talked about the science behind that. My director of research came to me and said, "Hey, I found this peptide that has 30 years of research, peer-reviewed, published research showing improvements in skin and hair, right? You should look at it." So I kind of dig into the research. The research is amazing. Exactly that, 30 years of positive improvements in skin and hair. And so I'm like, hey, how do we do this? Because the peptides are water soluble, and our product, ESS60 is oil soluble. And so typically, if you're going to mix a water insoluble into one thing, you use what's called an emulsifier. It's a chemical emulsifier. I don't like how emulsifiers sound. I don't even know if anybody likes how emulsifiers even sounds, but if you go Google it, there are no positive health benefits. In fact, to the contrary. And so we decided to come up with a 2-part solution, a two-part product, right? So, and really you put 2 squirts of the UTH29 is the peptide. We call it UTH29. And then for and you can see that's actually what causes the blue color in this lotion. And that is, again, water soluble. Then you take 2 drops of the ESS60 activator per squirt, right? So I did 2 squirts, so we do 4 drops. And then you actually activate that right in your hand. And I actually did forget to put it on this morning, so I'm really kind of happy we're doing this today.
He puts it on every show, and look at his face for mid-50s. I will tell you that I did just look at I was just kind of reposting some of our older shows. We have one that you did that has 2.5 million views because it was on the homepage of our website.
Oh,
and
wow.
it was when I used to talk him into not wearing his nerd glasses. I don't know why, because people love the glasses and it's so him. But I said, let people see how young you look. He didn't look anywhere near as young as he does now. So I was like, my God, look at the difference that our facial serums have made.
That's pretty awesome. Quite the testimony.
It really, well, look at the 3 of us. I got to say, I'm 106 and my skin is getting better all the time. I just had 2 surgeries. But the amazing thing, and I have a very funny joke, is that I know that this works on scars. And needless to say, a hip replacement leaves you about a 5-inch scar, which is a pretty big one. It's like, kind of like the length of my entire hand. And so I'm looking at these 2 amazing things on me, I'm like, oh, great, Frank and Granny, And so I started doing the facial serum because I know it works really well. And my friend said, pure vitamin E oil, totally cheap, also works really great. So I kind of mix them sometimes, but I did go and see my surgeon Weeks later, because I'm terrible. I always say, okay, because I want testimonials for my products, compare me to all your other people that have had, hip replacements. How do my scars look? Do you mind telling me compared to all your other clients after, 6 weeks of my 6-week checkup? And he goes, okay, great. Let me see your scars. And I said, well, aren't you going to flirt first or anything? Because
Butter me up
I'm
a bit, Doc.
so bad. He makes both of you guys look old. I mean, he's young, but a family of surgeons, and probably the best choice I could have made because I am so even walking, and I'm going to climb trees faster than any of the kids. I mean, I'm bionic now, and frankly, unstoppable. But my stitches, he said, definitely high 90 percentile.
Oh, that's great.
And
Good
I said,
stuff.
"Are you just saying that to flirt? Or are you being serious?" He goes, "No, you really healed fast." But when my best friend saw me last week, she started crying. She just said, "Wow, you're back." And I said, "Yeah, I'm back." And then I did the tango at the restaurant. It was like, I'm seriously back. So it is really nice. I've had an extreme recovery, extremely quick, extremely thorough, though. For me, it's the mental memory of bad people, and so the thing about the Evo on a daily basis is it's really kept me from going postal. And I think a lot of people, and with what we've got coming politically and energetically, when you've got this much dishonesty sitting in places of power, we've got a real job ahead to get on the other side of this. But I have nothing but faith. If I just survive 2 major surgeries, it's so far behind me now. It just seems like the past. But it's only because I feel this good now. And I never knew that I could pull this off quite this well. So I am blustering with pride about our company and our products. And we do test every bottle that goes out has been tested for concentration levels. Not a lot of labs have the gear that we do. It's a high performance liquid chromatography machine that measures the concentration levels. So when our bottle says 0.8 milligrams per milliliters of C60 Evo, the ESS60 molecule, you're going to get that much. But we tested the entire market, which there are other subliminal companies. I call them subliminal because they're just selling stuff that doesn't have the concentration levels. It doesn't have the ESS60, which is what we do. We are the only lab in the world making a product that is made for humans and pets. ESS60 is the cleanest version. The evolution of the fullerene that won the Nobel Prize that Chris and Robert have been making for 32 years. Industrial grade isn't for people and pets. Tell the rest of the people that they need to be taking ESS60 and giving it to their pets to get the results that we're seeing. And we are getting testimonials from dog owners that are just putting us in tears. Thank you for another year with my dog. Like we heard that twice in the last 6 months. Thank you for another year. We thought we were going to have to put him down.
Yeah.
My housekeeper was just here and she was really sad because her cat and $3,000. And I'm like, where's she going to come up with that money? And I went to my closet and gave her a bottle of C60 Evo for cats. And I said, I know you're going to have to go through it, maybe, but start now. Take a look at our website so you can appreciate the other testimonials of cat saving, dog saving. But my goodness, when you've got a kid or a pet, we don't give it to kids, but we do give it to pets. But when you see your pet's lethargic and near the end, then all of a sudden they come back, you're going to say, wow, they just pulled a Patty.
That's great.
Yep, they're going to be on their comeback tour. So that's what I wish for everyone is radiant recovery, because this is not an easy time. And I congratulate every one of your viewers for being here today, which is May 7th. My God, we've made it for 3 years of this crap.
I know.
Excuse my language, but good God, have we been lied to. And we've stayed really strong. And I think that we are going to be the teachers of the coming paradigm when people are going to say, wait, what just happened? I
Yep.
think I missed a chapter.
Yep.
And your shows are going to be really important, and our products are going to help people get through it.
I absolutely agree. Definitely. Well, listen, guys, as always, you put together a special offer for the viewers of the show. That website is c60evo.com/redpill78. And when you use the code redpill78, you guys are going to get an extra 10% off of every single product on the website. And that includes the bundles and packages, right, Patty?
It does. I think it includes everything, even cases.
Yeah.
If you buy a case, which we sell a lot of cases, that's 12 bottles. You can split with a friend or have a good stash in a dark place and pull them out when you need them. You will save 25% off. And then use the code RedPill78 and you get another 10% off that. That's going to be your badass deal, as we said at the top of the show. But we also offer 20% if you sign up for a monthly subscription, which is what we recommend to everyone. No obligation. If you really don't want it, get the 20% off. Call in 2 days or drop us an email. Over. You're not obligated, but you'll get a discount. And once you get the products, most people don't cancel. We have I think it's above 50% of our subscribers don't quit. We've got them for years, and it's because the products work. I find that all of the supplements that I've had for ages, I barely take lately, even though I need to rebuild my bones, muscles, tendons. The Evo seems to be all I really crave. And I run my big pendulum, like, do I need my supplements, and it's really surprising me how thorough this is for me. I can't say it's for everyone else, but super important for me. Start my day with the coconut MCT oil in my morning coffee. And then I do a shot of the olive oil if I have anything important to do during the day, because this is a banger. And a teaspoon is what we recommend to start, but a tablespoon is what hardcore people or people that really have a lot to heal, to detoxify, a tablespoon before noon, I recommend, because if you take it late in the day, you're going to be up at night. Not Chris, though. He can drink a bottle of this oil and a cup of coffee and go right to sleep. Most people don't, but they also probably don't dance as hard as Chris dances.
I definitely enjoy that. I do want to throw in, we've used the word heal. We've given some testimonials. It's just important. We're not making claims. It's always better to just assume what we share in our testimonials won't happen to you. And then let me also share that the FDA has not evaluated our products. They're not intended to treat, diagnose, cure, or prevent any disease.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yes, all I can say is I've had a good experience, and from the people in my audience who've reached out to me and who've actually reviewed it on your website, they've had great experiences as well. All right. Well, I just want to say thank you very, very much, as always, for stopping in and having conversation with me. You guys, I really appreciate it. Love having this time to talk with you every month.
We do too.
Thank you, Zach.
All right, great. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time.
Stay healthy, everyone.